when I felt like I could trust police, it was very, very different. Now I feel like I have no options at all. I literally am like, I got to leave this area because what am I supposed to do? If someone comes to my house and I defend myself, I'm going to end up like this Omaha guy. What am I going to jump off my balcony 20 feet and like land on the ground, run, and then there's nowhere to go. There's no way to retreat. And I know if I do anything, they're going to claim peaceful protesters, some other ridiculous nonsense.
Yeah. My 10-year-old daughter wouldn't. She never went back into my house after that night. She went and stayed at her dad's house, and then I had to send her up to visit my mom in another state.
Smart.
Because my daughter would not step foot in the house again. She was like, I don't know if they're coming back. They didn't catch them. I'm not going there. So I had to move in 12 days. Fastest move of all time.
To the middle of nowhere. And then
thank God I did, though.
Moved out into the middle of nowhere too.
You're gonna love it.
I know, it's fantastic. I love it. So we've been here for the past several days, and everything we got built today, like this room was barren empty. And like, trust us, getting this, we got like a mixer board over here and all this stuff. It's ridiculous. I swear it's magic. There's like a weird scenario where like cables just don't work, and then but I'm trying really, really hard to just get out because November is coming, and I am not going to be in a city on November 3rd through forever.
Yeah.
It's like the deadline to get out of the cities. I'm like, look, we're what, 8 days away now from the debates.
Awesome.
How could the debates happen?
Is it that soon?
They better.
29th.
I've been so distracted with covering like Antifa and BLM and all this stuff. I didn't even realize it was coming up so soon.
29th.
Wow.
So we're just over a week out. Can a debate really happen?
Oh yeah.
Joe Biden, he just said 200 million people
I know.
died. Did you
He
see
might
that?
fall asleep.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Maybe they're going to give him like a ridiculous dose of uppers. They're going to have him sleep up until 1 hour before, wake him up, get him all ready, and then give him some uppers. I'm not trying to be mean. I mean that literally. Like they might give him some
Trump
medication.
wanted to do a drug test, he and Biden, because he thinks he's on something.
People have said Trump's on stuff. But Trump's a spry old man. He's spry.
Yeah.
Joe Biden's not. So I started thinking, I'm like, man, isn't everything just going completely nuts? Like this can't be real. Are we in the Truman Show or something?
I think
Are you guys punking me?
You are so in it. Like you say this sometimes, and you might be too. I don't know, but you're seeing the worst a lot. So it's not as crazy as it seems.
No. I'm not talking about the worst. I'm talking about the weird.
It's definitely weird. The internet made things so weird.
So hold on. Let me ask you a question. Did you see the Colby Covington fight?
Oh, no, but I watched his interview after.
What was the guy he was fighting was like a pro Black Lives Matter guy?
Yeah.
Come on, man. A guy named Covington fighting a Black Lives Matter activist, a Trump supporter in the ring against him. Somebody set that up. Now, the dude was impressive. Like, and his speech was awesome. The dude's cool.
I liked when they got into a fight afterwards, like a verbal fight after. That was great. Did you watch that?
No, what happened?
Well, he got a lot of backlash, Colby did, because he was like, I just got off the phone with the president. Has your tribe sent you smoke signals or something? It was real bad. But my eyes were watering watching it. I was like, I can't believe he just said that. The UFC is the last place that like comedy and actual put downs and like
but
trash talk is loud.
I saw a meme and it said it was like something like a Colby Covington and the Covington Kid. And it was like it was like a picture of the Covington, Nick Sandman, and they're like MAGA. I'm like, what? Like how? It's just a coincidence, right? But then the dude literally fought a Black Lives Matter activist and won. Yeah. Is that like are the elders controlling the simulator or whatever? Are they warning us what's going to happen in November? Like Trump will win. It's good. Trump's going to beat them. It just. There's a lot of weird little things like this where it's like, that can't be real, can it? Like, how is this really happening?
If it's a magnetic universe, there are no coincidences.
We're in a simulation, bro. I was talking to some other people who are some big personality friends of mine, and I was just like, bro, are we in a simulation? And these are like regular, normal, boring podcast people, and they're like, dude, we're in a simulation. I'm half kidding because I'm like, it's just everything that's happening is so weird, I can't imagine a debate between. Listen, when I watch these videos of Joe Biden, I don't just follow right-wing pundits who are making fun of Joe Biden, and I push back when people try and say Joe Biden gaffed when he didn't. So there's that one thing where Joe Biden said, I'm going to beat Joe Biden. He didn't. He said, I'm going to be Joe Biden, but he's got dentures.
Right.
He was like, people ask about my record. I tell you, I'm Joe Biden. I'm going to be Joe Biden. but people heard a beat, and I'm like, so I'll push back on that, right? There's also when he said, you know, remember when Biden said, "Go, you know the thing." Well, we're all created equally under go, you know, the thing we say. It's not because he didn't remember the word. It's because he panicked, thinking if he said the word God, he'd offend the far left, who really hate that. So he stopped himself. Undergo, you know, the thing. He stopped himself from saying God. So that wasn't a gaffe. But I watch videos of Joe Biden. That dude is not there at all.
No.
And so how could Donald Trump's going to walk up on stage and go, "Thank you. Joe Biden, thank you. Your campaign staff bailed out the rioters." And then it's over. Done. That's it. They did.
And Trump will he'll be like, "You said 200 million people will die." And but then he won't let it go. Trump will keep going with it. That's the nice thing
He's got stamina. He's going to last.
He's spry.
Yeah.
He's a spry old man. So
and he's persistent.
We'll talk about that. But I do want to talk about Assange and all that stuff too. But first, to kind of wrap up all the talk, we're talking about these riots and everything. How do you feel about Trump's job so far dealing with the riots?
Not great. I honestly, if somebody told me that I would be saying this 6 months ago, I would have been like, "You are out of your mind." But I think he should have used the Insurrection Act like 3 months ago.
I thought that at first. I shouldn't say that. I was thinking maybe, but then I read a really good article that basically said, what do you think would happen when the local police are instructed to resist, when the local government resists, and you all of a sudden have a federal occupying force in a city that's rejecting them?
Yeah.
It's just a recipe for legit civil war.
But at the same time, these cities are rejecting U.S. law and U.S. norms and everything. They've gone nearly anarchist. So at what point do you say these states are, not,
how do you? So
they're
I
not
guess the
functioning.
Big you saw what happened today with the DOJ announcing anarchist jurisdictions.
Yeah.
They're going to try and defund Portland, Seattle, and New York City, or take federal funding away from them. My concern is that's going to result in more problems for the cities. I think it's going to make them get worse because now they have no money and they're going to be like, whatever. It's going to kind of fall apart. But the problem is, even that action, which I understand why they're doing it, they give this big outline of all of these cities, how they rejected federal assistance, how they won't enforce the law, how they're cutting criminals loose. And I'm like, almost anything Trump does will lead to potential civil war. Like the states rejecting federal authority, which they've been doing. Like when it came to Portland, Trump sent some police there to protect a federal building, and they resisted in every possible way. Yeah. And everything just got worse. I will say the one thing I've praised Trump on over and over again, probably for the 50 billionth time, for those of you that are familiar with my content, is that the feds deputized the Oregon State Police. So any arrest they make now gets prosecuted by the feds instead, and that wrapped up a ton of these people.
Yeah.
But then here's what happened. The riots came back to Portland the other day. They went to an ICE facility, and ICE, you see these videos of how ICE responded? They just dropped smoke bombs. The air was a cloud. You couldn't see anything. You couldn't see your hand in front of you. And then they ran up behind Antifa. So Antifa's marching forward with the umbrellas, and they're firing tear gas at them. And then the whole area fills with smoke. And then all of a sudden the cops run up behind. They went around, ran up behind them, and just grabbed them and arrested them all.
Yeah.
So then what happened the next day? Antifa stayed away from the feds, marched to the city, smashing up local businesses. And where were the police? Where was Ted Wheeler? Nowhere to be found. They realized if they go up against Trump, they get crushed. But so long as they attack the state level, they're okay.
See, one of the things that I'm having a huge problem, wrapping my head around, though, is that everybody's being like, this is what Biden's America, this would be Biden's America, this would be Biden's America. And I'm like, this is Trump's America, and it's happening right now, and it's not stopping. And these business owners have been getting screwed for, 130 days now? And nobody's helping them. And it's not Biden's America, it's Trump's America. And he has a responsibility to do something if those local leaders are failing. Because It's not those people's fault. It's not the business owner's fault. It's not Jake's fault. It's not any of these people's fault that their local government is failing them.
At the very least, no, I can't even.
I do want to say, though, before people jump down my throat, I am voting for Trump, and I think that you'd be a fool not to vote for Trump. I just have some criticisms also. I
think Trump's probably concerned that if he makes too bold a move, it could affect his chance at re-election. I think every politician deals with that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say Trump's not a politician. He is now. He's fighting for re-election. So he's a different kind. But he might lose if they would use everything against him.
I don't believe there's undecided voters. I think that people have picked a side.
Yeah.
And his side wants law and order.
Yeah.
And he's not giving us enough law and order.
Well, I mean, not only that, look at the Republicans who are like, we're not going to vote on replacing Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It's like, dude, literally every Republican and Trump supporters want you to do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know whose vote you think you're going to get. It's funny because you have, like, I think it was like Murkowski.
Yeah.
But did they flip back and say they were going to do it, or?
I don't think so. I think she's standing strong, but I could be wrong. I was in Assange and Antifa mode all day. I haven't kept up on anything else.
She's saying, she's not going to vote until after she's not going to vote to confirm or whatever until after the election. Does she think there is a large group of Trump's, like, conservatives and Republicans who have decided they're like every Republican is undecided? The point I'm trying to make is, if 30% of the country is Republican, 33 is Democrat, and 30 are independent, she realized, like, you realize you'll lose all of the Republicans if you do this. And so what is she trying to get Democrats to vote for? They're not going to vote for her.
Yeah.
They want ridiculous policy that makes no sense. So by abandoning the core base of Republicans, then what? You get some left moderate Democrats who for some reason like the Republican better than the Democrats. That makes literally no sense.
I mean, I just think politicians are narcissists. And they get, she is an extremely unremarkable politician. There's nothing special about her. There's nothing interesting about her. She's not a Trump or a Ted Cruz or a Rand Paul. She's not she's boring. And by pandering to the left for a little while, she gets a whole bunch of head pats from CNN and she gets her 5 minutes of airtime where people are like, you did a great thing. You're so brave. And it feeds their ego for, another year.
Well, thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So come back to check us out when we go live. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. And we are also available on all podcast platforms for free if you want to listen to us there. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all next time.